Hey guys, Dan and Daisy are back, and Bindi, she wants to get in the film too. Today we're actually gonna be leaving from my house here and we're gonna be going downtown to my office, going to a restaurant. But what we're gonna be covering today is what makes Eau Claire so special and why Eau Claire is one of the top 5 fastest growing cities in the state of Wisconsin. So let's start off. I'm gonna be driving downtown. I'm really hungry right now, so I hope you guys don't mind. I'm gonna stop at a really good restaurant downtown called The District. This place actually has over 1,000 reviews on it, right downtown Eau Claire. So if you guys happen to be making your way to Eau Claire, check the place out, really good cheese curds. I will show you. It's gonna make you hungry just watching it. And yeah, let's get the party started. Should we get going, Daisy? All right, let's go. Okay, Bindi, back in. Bindi, back in. Okay, let's go, Daisy, come on. Come on. Oh. All right, guys, now that we are all packed up and ready to go, I'm gonna start driving down to downtown Eau Claire. This video is mainly about what makes Eau Claire so special. And Eau Claire is actually one of the top 5 fastest growing cities in the state of Wisconsin, which I've already stated. Interesting thing is, back in the 1800s or late 1800s, Eau Claire was actually the 2nd largest city in the state of Wisconsin, only behind Milwaukee. It's obviously not taken off as much as Milwaukee. However, in the past recent years, there's been a lot of things that have really pushed the growth and the amount of people who want to stay here and actually move to this area. So a couple fun facts about Eau Claire. Just a few years ago, it's been about a 3-year period where we've had almost 3,000 people move to this area net. So after you include all the people who are moving out, we actually had 3,000 more people. So back in 2020, we had about 69,000 people. And as of last year in 2023, we have actually over 71,000 people in this area, which is pretty cool for the area because it just brings, the fact that we're growing, people are willing to take risks and open up businesses and open up restaurants and open up just a lot of cool new art culture and music scene and all that fun stuff. Another big thing about Eau Claire, it's the downtown area has really been revitalized. And if you guys watch my YouTube video where we actually take a tour of downtown Eau Claire and the top things to do on a Saturday, you guys will see a lot more of the actual downtown area. So make sure you guys go to my channel, subscribe to it, and also watch some of those videos because there's a lot of content on there that you guys are gonna miss out if you don't watch some of those videos. So a couple things that keep Eau Claire super progressive with the times is the fact that they're super progressive with entertainment, massive art culture. So we have a lot of festivals in the area. Again, if you guys go watch my other videos, we talk a lot about all the art festivals like Eau Claire Music Festival, Festival in the Pines, Country Jam, Rock Fest, Country Fest. There's a few other ones that I can't even think of off the top of my head, but we actually bring in a lot of different talent to this area, which again goes back to the culture, right? In an area where people are enjoying where they work and where they live and where they play, they generally stay here and get attracted to moving to the area, right? So people who move to Eau Claire, generally speaking, are staying in the area, and people from outside of the area, with the help of our YouTube videos and job offers and other things you can find online, people are being actually drawn to Eau Claire as a new destination and a new place to live for them. So it's pretty cool to see that Eau Claire is growing, and there's a few other cities around Wisconsin that are actually shrinking, and Eau Claire happens to be growing. Another thing that helps Eau Claire in a huge way is the fact that we have a pretty awesome college in town. We have a couple technical colleges, and then we have a regular 4-year degree college too. And both of those colleges actually bring a lot more skilled labor and skilled individuals to the area who a lot of times if they move here to go to school, they end up staying here, which gives us more educated, I guess, workforce, you could call it, and it really helps the economy. All right, that's enough of me rambling on. I'm actually going to drive down and go to one of my favorite restaurants, and I'm gonna make you guys super jealous because I'm gonna be eating cheese curds as you're watching this video and bacon cheeseburger. So let's hop on down there. What do you say, Daisy? She's sleeping in the back. So, all right, guys, we'll see you down there. All right, guys, I made it downtown Eau Claire. You can see the art in the background here outside my window. I'm gonna jump out of my truck with Daisy in a second here and walk to the restaurant. I got about probably 5-10 minutes until my food is done. I'm really excited to show you guys. maybe I'm just excited because I'm super hungry right now, but a couple things about Eau Claire. So one of the reasons that Eau Claire has been such a growing economy over the past few years is because, and so many people have been wanting to move here, is because there's so many job opportunities, right? I was just scrolling through Indeed before I made this video just to kind of see what was out there. And there's a lot of really good paying jobs in medical fields. So medical fields, manufacturing, tech jobs. There's actually a company called Revitalised Downtown, Eau Claire here. That company actually employs a lot of my colleagues that I know of who went to college for technology. So a lot of manufacturing, a lot of technology, a lot of medical and health jobs around here. And a lot of the times when people are moving to Eau Claire, they're actually reach out to us because we are a real estate company downtown Eau Claire here. So if you are moving to Eau Claire, we help people from out of state all the time. And we actually have a secret treat for you guys. When you move to Eau Claire, we will actually get you I'm not gonna tell you what it is. You have to reach out to me to figure out what it is. We hook you guys up with some cool local Eau Claire tours and whatnot around the area. Make sure if you guys are moving to this area to reach out to me. My contact info is actually below in the description, or just go to Google Dan Realty Group, where we actually have over 500 reviews if you do wanna learn a little bit more about us. Anyways, that's probably the biggest thing that I know of Eau Claire is you have to have jobs, right? You have to have opportunities for people to grow. The entrepreneurship scene around this area is super good. I've actually helped grow 2 different businesses in the area. Dan Realty Group being my current one, my real estate business, and we're one of the top real estate teams in the area. There's tons of other opportunities if you are somebody who wants to get into construction. There's a lot of construction jobs. The city of Eau Claire was hiring, the county health department was hiring when I looked on Indeed. So I can't go on enough about how many opportunities that on the job front that there is around this area, and they seem to all be pretty decently paying jobs as well. So that is reason number 1 why Eau Claire is continuing to grow and outpace the rest of the cities in Wisconsin. The second biggest reason why I think Eau Claire is growing the way it is because of the community focused aspect of Eau Claire. Government is reinvesting a lot of their time and energy into building parks, infrastructure within Eau Claire, opportunities for people to grow. There's so many events that happen on the weekends that are privately put together. So for example, if you guys have watched my other videos, I mentioned this a couple times, there's a lot of resources if you guys go back in my videos. The most popular one being the farmers market downtown in Phoenix Park. That is one of the most popular things that you can do if you're gonna be coming to this area and checking it out for the weekend. You gotta go to that. Then there is also a little craft festival that's a few blocks down from there during certain months of the year. And we can drop that in the description because I don't know the exact dates off the top of my head. Like I mentioned before, community focused things. So there's a lot of entrepreneurship groups and resources for people who want to start businesses, right? This is a huge one for me because right out of high school and after college, I progressed as an entrepreneur myself. And I did take advantage of these groups that I was able to network with other individuals who are also running businesses, get connected with people who are gonna be able to help me in that role, right? So if you are somebody who wants to start a business, there's a couple things. So Muskie Tank, you can follow that on Facebook. That was a big one for me to meet people. I usually go to every single one of those meetings. So if you want to meet me, you can either contact me if you want looking to buy a house or meet me at an entrepreneurship group, talk about business. Another thing that I've gone to plenty of times is called 1 Million Cups. It's just 1 million cups. And if you just Google that, you'll pull it up in Eau Claire. That is a nationwide thing. So you have to put Eau Claire in there. And there is also free legal resources at the library downtown, which I have to give a huge shout out to the library downtown. So talk about reinvesting into your city. The public library for me, when I was first starting off in college, right out of high school, starting my little businesses that I had going on back then, the public library was a resource that it was an invaluable resource for me, right? I could go there, learn about anything for free. I could use their computers, I could print stuff off. I could study while I was in college. Everything I'm mentioning is literally within walking distance down here. So I want you guys to make sure you're paying attention to all the places I'm talking to. And if you do make a trip to Eau Claire, make sure you walk around and get your bearings straight with where all these things are. And as I mentioned before, all the music festivals that come to this area, hugely community focused, right? We're trying to build a community that is based on culture and entertainment and just giving as much value back to people within the community and also attracting people from outside the area to this area, which says a lot about the city of Eau Claire in general. Another huge thing is, actually it's on the other side of the block from me, is the Children's Museum. The Children's Museum was a huge project that was undertaken, and it's been a huge win for the city of Eau Claire, the downtown, and also the Menominee Market. So we got a grocery store, we got parks, we got the library, we have this massive art building right here called the Pablo Center downtown Eau Claire, connected to a couple bridges that go over the Chippewa and the Eau Claire River. Also, just really great things to draw people down to the heart of the city down here. So that's number 2 for me, is the community aspect, community focused aspect that the city of Eau Claire County, and a lot of private investors who have just been reinvesting their time and energy back into downtown Eau Claire, because downtown Eau Claire has not always been this nice. There's actually been moments in history where this was a pretty scary area to be in. It's completely taken a full 360 or 180, and it's even gotten so much better in the last 10 to 12 years since I've been here. So I've even been able to see some of the progress, but even if you go back 20 or 30 years ago, the city of Eau Claire downtown was not a pretty place to be. And now it's one of the fastest growing cities in the state of Wisconsin. Pretty cool to be a part of.
Oh, wrong door.
All right, everybody, so we're at the Carson Park, which is one of the best parks downtown, or in the middle of Eau Claire. There's actually a lot of parks in the middle of Eau Claire. I didn't really realize that until I was making this video on how many different parks that there really is to highlight, because each one has its own unique features. This park, I'm not sure how many acres it is, maybe 20 to 30 acres right in the middle of Eau Claire, and I'm so glad that they kept this a park area, because there's a lot of kids here and animals here and a lot of spots to be able to hammock. As you can see, there's a lot of trees and hike and walk, and there's a lot of stuff to do here. There's actually a couple baseball fields, softball fields behind me. There's actually a football field as well. There's some semi-pro baseball and football teams that actually play in this area. And also, last but not least, guys, I did end up opening or getting my food, and I did bring it out here to show you guys. This is the district, like I said. So I got district, you know, Wisconsin's very well known for these cheese curds. These are amazing. I can't wait to dig into that. And then I got honey mustard, Swiss cheese, bacon, cheeseburger, medium rare. I am super excited to eat this because I am hungry. I haven't eaten since like 9 o'clock this morning, and right now it is about, what is it right now? About 5:30 p.m. and kind of hungry. So I'm glad I'm sitting here making this video with you guys and getting to eat at the same time. And I'm gonna also talk about a couple other parks that I really recommend you guys to watch out for and actually go visit when you come here. So Carson Park is probably one of the most one of the original parks in the area, and Eau Claire, Wisconsin has a very rich history of logging, right? So there's about 15 different logging companies in the back in the 1800s that literally built Wisconsin and actually the entire country. 1 out of every 8 logs during the lumber boom in the late 1800s actually came down the Chippewa River, which is right behind those. You can't see it from here, but right behind those trees. So 1 out of every 8 logs came from the Chippewa River during the boom in the late 1800s that literally built America, which is really, really cool. Eau Claire was a huge part of that. You know, every log had to come through here. There was a dam. From the dam, this is one of the most interesting things I learned on a Eau Claire tour a couple weeks ago that I was on, which is my secret that if you guys reach out to us, we'll hook you guys up with a really cool secret Eau Claire tour on a trolley downtown Eau Claire. So I took it because I wanted to see, to make sure it was gonna be good enough for you guys. So they actually used to have a log flume from the top of the dam in Eau Claire here, the dam is still there today. Go down, and log flume would actually go about a mile, and part of it actually went down into an underground tunnel and into Half Moon Lake, which Half Moon Lake, if you look on a map, Carson Park is in the middle of Half Moon Lake. So Half Moon Lake actually originally was a holding bay for all these different logging companies, and each log had its own stamp on it, so which represented who owned that log, whatever logging company that belonged to, so they could get paid by whoever's taking those logs downstream and processing them. So kind of interesting piece of history that we're actually sitting within right here in Carson Park. Carson is the last name of one of the loggers who ended up donating a lot of this land to the city, which is why a lot of the parks around here are actually named after lumber barons, and a lot of the old Victorian, like really fancy houses that are really old downtown are also, a lot of them are from the old loggers that, you know, basically built Eau Claire. A couple other parks that I've talked about a lot is Phoenix Park downtown Eau Claire, which back before 2002, that was actually a junkyard, which now is one of the nicest spots in Eau Claire to hang out. I probably hang out in that park more than any other park just because it's like walking distance from my office, my real estate office downtown. And if you guys are thinking about moving to this area, like I said, make sure you reach out to me, because I have been in every single neighborhood in Eau Claire. I know this area really well. I know the places to move to, and more importantly, I know the places to stay out of, right? So if you guys are thinking about moving to this area and you're looking for housing, which I'd assume you're probably gonna need a house, right? I'm your guy to reach out to. We'd love to help you guys out. We help people from all over the country. Send me an email, send me a text message, give me a phone call, send me a carrier pigeon for all I care. You know, however you need to get a hold of me, just reach out to me. And then also make sure you comment in the comments if you love something about Eau Claire that I missed, or something that you liked in my video. A couple other parks that I would highly recommend is going to be Lois Creek. That's probably my second most visited park in Eau Claire, because there's a lot of biking trails there, a lot of hiking trails, and you could probably spend about 4 or 5 hours out there without going over the same exact trail, which is why I love it. I like to run out there. And then another really good biking trail in Eau Claire is going to be Northwest Park in Eau Claire. Northwest Park is in a little woodsy area. It's kind of a newer park, and I didn't even know it until about last year that it even existed. So Lois Creek and Northwest Park are the two parks. If you guys are avid mountain bikers, those are the two I would go to. If you guys just like to hang out with the kids, or you like just stroll through the park, there's plenty of parks. And I will actually make a video on the pros and cons of each of these parks in Eau Claire, because once I started doing my research on all these parks, I realized that every single park, there really is a kind of a different purpose and reason for going to all of them, right? I mean, I think at the end of the day, we all agree that the main purpose to get to a park is just to be outside in nature and just enjoy the fresh air and hang out. But each of these parks has a different purpose behind them, I think. Get back on track here. I think one of the biggest reasons for attraction to Eau Claire, I've stayed in other places around the country and they didn't really have parks. And Eau Claire has parks around every single corner, and not to mention all the neighborhood parks that they have in these little, so they might have a little neighborhood park with a jungle gym and a little field to play catch in or whatever. So Eau Claire is huge in their parks and keeping things natural, as it once was all just woods back in the day before we ended up moving. I think actually in the early 1800s, we moved to this area, and it's just been growing and growing and growing ever since, right? And now it's booming even more. And the time we're in now. Parks, huge part about why I like living in Eau Claire and why I think a lot of people are sticking around and loving this area as well. All right, guys. So I've been rambling on for a little bit, and I think it's time to cut into one of these cheese curds. And if you're not a native Wisconsin person, which most of the people who are watching my videos are actually not from Wisconsin, but I'm assuming that you've probably heard of the famous Wisconsin cheese curds, right? And I would say that the district downtown Eau Claire does one of the best representations on what Wisconsin cheese curds could be possibly about. Look how big that is. It's got cheddar cheese in there, and then you can't miss the. I love dipping my cheese curds in ranch. Oh, okay. Well, you just watched me make a mess. I'm trying to rush here because I'm on camera. Wow. Alrighty. Okay, that didn't go as planned, but here you go. That is good. I think it's a cross between being really hungry and it being really good. Shout out district. Definitely recommend it, guys. All right, guys, if you're not already convinced that Eau Claire is one of the best places you could possibly move to, what I hear a lot of times when people do contact us or end up moving to Eau Claire for whatever reason, I always ask them, you know, what drew them to this area? Why did they end up picking this location? And a lot of times, at least part of the conversation comes down to just simply the landscape and how beautiful Wisconsin is in general. Not even just Eau Claire, which Eau Claire is beautiful. Lots of lakes, lots of rivers around the area, lots of trees. As you guys can see, I'm just walking through the right downtown Eau Claire right now, in Carson Park still. But a lot of the conversation comes down to the actual landscape of Wisconsin itself. So if you drive east in Eau Claire County here, it'll bring you towards like Fall Creek, Augusta area. Stacy's running after a bunch of squirrels over there. I wish I would've got that in video. So if you drive east of Eau Claire on Highway 12, it'll bring you out to Fall Creek and Augusta area. If you drive just a few minutes outside of Eau Claire, you're gonna run into rolling hills, beautiful farmland, hobby farms, and then you drive through Fall Creek, you'll need to stop at Weaver's. It's a little Mennonite store right outside of Fall Creek. It's a little Mennonite grocery store. It's definitely a cool place to stop. When I was a kid, I actually used to pick blackberries because I grew up in Augusta, Fall Creek area, and I used to pick blackberries for that place. So I always dropped them off every single Saturday morning during the summer, during blackberry season. So kind of a cool thing there. And then if you drive north of Eau Claire, you're gonna drive into the most dense pine tree, up north landscape you can possibly think of, even more lakes than around here. So you drive east, farmland, Amish, Mennonite, you drive straight north, cabins, lakes, fishing, pine trees, camping, and truthfully, camping is one of the best ways you could possibly get to understand and just appreciate the beauty of Wisconsin. I am actually going up to Apostle Island next weekend, which I'm super excited about. It's about a 2.5 hour drive from here. Just a really cool weekend. There's a lot of cool weekend or day trips around Wisconsin that you can go and take off from Eau Claire and be somewhere super cool within a day. A couple places I would definitely recommend anybody checking out if they have a weekend that they want to spend in Wisconsin is Apostle Islands, which is, I think, 21 different islands on Lake Superior, right off the coast. And one of the best things to do there is camp. I'm camping on Madeline Island. You can take a ferry out to that island, stay there, and then, come on Daisy. And then from there, I definitely recommend renting some kayaks. And that's my favorite thing to do out there is go and rent the kayaks and go through the sea caves. So along the shore, you actually have these caves that as Lake Superior's kind of pushed waves on the banks, it's actually created little sea caves. You can actually drive your kayak into the cave, and it's definitely a cool experience. Another thing I highly recommend doing, a day trip or a weekend trip, is going down to the Wisconsin Dells and going checking out some water parks. And then a really cool nature thing to do there is Wisconsin Dells actually has the #1 state park in the state of Wisconsin, which is Devil's Lake. Definitely amazing. I didn't even know I was in Wisconsin when I was hiking around that lake. It's about a 5-mile loop, and really good exercise and some beautiful views out there. Again, you can rent a kayak out there, do some fishing, some kayaking, whatever you might want to do. So definitely some cool things to do around the area, landscape wise. And then last but not least, Eau Claire itself is really well known for bicycling. So it actually has 70 miles of paved bicycling trails. And that's another good way to really get to know Eau Claire really well in the landscape of the area, get outside, get some fresh air. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video. It's really fun making these. So make sure you guys like the video and subscribe so that I know you guys are engaging with this content, because I don't know how much you guys like it unless you comment on it, you like it, you give me some engagement. And then just keep in mind, if you guys are moving to the Eau Claire area, make sure you reach out to myself. I'd love to help you guys out. We help people moving from all over the country all the time. So it'll be something that's right in our wheelhouse to be able to help you guys out. So anyways, have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever device you're watching from. And we'll talk to you soon. We'll talk to you in the next episode.